Turn heads and bring the hype with a custom hype chain from Lotwin. Perfect for youth sports, fantasy football, or just flexing your pride. Go to Lotwin.com, use the promo code TCCPOD for 10% off your order. That's Lotwin.com, promo code TCCPOD for 10% off. Get your custom hype chain and get hype with Lotwin. What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for May 8th, 2026. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a feel-good Friday edition of the podcast. Not quite as feel-gooder as last Friday. In fact, I'd be close to almost a regular Friday. Still Friday, so we still feel good, but not the best of week for our Phillies teams. Who would have thought that the Philadelphia Phillies would be the ones that carry the torch? They didn't look good last night, though. 12-1. It was just a matter of time, I guess, before that A's lineup exploded. Unfortunately for the Phils, it happened against Andrew Painter, who was not good. I guess he was paying homage to Taijuan Walker last night. Just not good. Yes, they have a good lineup, but man, you cannot be giving up 8 earned runs. Yikes. Maybe the Phillies should just have the 4 starters and a 6 starter, because it seems whoever fits into that 5th starting spot just does not do well. 12-1, Phil's lost. Couldn't really get it going offensively. Schwarber with a homer. They scratched out 6 hits, but maybe today will be better. I mean, you still got to look at it like this. They've been red hot since Mattingly took over. Welcome the Rockies this weekend. So let's go. We talked about it the other day. Trying to get to 500. That's the first benchmark we need to get it to. So win series. So let's get it started tonight. Jesus Luzardo on the mound, followed by Aaron Noah and Christopher Sanchez on Sunday. Flyers are on the brink, losing 4-1 to the Hurricanes last night. And they had their chances early. They hit a couple off the post. Porter Martone is going to be a problem, though. I think even the announcers were saying that there were a couple times where he would have been better suited to just take the shot himself instead of looking for the pass. Even though they were good passes and the Flyers had their opportunities. But they made mistakes. He showed some fight. It's just they could not overcome the mistakes. And look, Carolina is the number 1 seed for a reason. Carolina is a Stanley Cup favorite for a reason. And I think, truthfully, if we're being realistic about it, Flyers are just outmatched. They don't have the guns right now to hang. They're on their way, though. Trevor Zegras scored the only goal for the Flyers. I think that almost has to be a top priority for the Flyers this offseason. He's a restricted free agent, but re-signing him, you have Porter Martone with a full offseason, and then starting the season with the Flyers. I think, like I said, I think the future is bright for this team. You have draft capital. You have the cap space now. So this team is going to be good. It's just they're running into a buzzsaw right now. And, I mean, Carolina hasn't lost in the playoffs, and there's a reason for that. Once again, though, the power play haunted them. 0 for 5 on the power play. I think, and again, not one for moral victories, but I think with this team, where they are in their progression, the fact that they made the playoffs, learned how to deal with that adversity down the stretch. They won a playoff series against a hated rival, and now they're gaining this experience in the second round. Future is certainly bright for this team. Now, not saying it's all the way over, but I think 4 teams in the history of the NHL have come back from 0-3. Flyers happen to be one of them, but I don't see this Carolina Hurricanes team losing 4 straight. But crazier things have happened. It is the NHL playoffs. But Game 4, 6 o'clock tomorrow night. But Flyers just outmatched. I mean, and kudos and hats off to the Hurricanes who took advantage of the Flyers' mistakes when they made them. then we got the Sixers. Now, history is not on the Sixers side either. They've never come back from an 0-2 deficit in a series. But if you pay attention and listen and check me out with takes from the truck on social media, they had never come back from a 3-1 hole either until last series. So who knows what's going to happen. Game 3 tonight at the X, and then Game 4 will be on Sunday. Hopefully that is to even up the series. And now I had kind of a funny little take here, and kind of backfired on me. It's going to be insanity down at the sports complex this weekend starting tonight. You got Sixers Phillies tonight. You got Flyers Phillies tomorrow, and then Sixers Phillies on Sunday. I was going to say they're doing construction on 95. The on and off ramps on both sides are closed. I think PennDOT said they might open up a lane. And I was going to say good luck dealing with traffic down there this weekend. Take public transportation and all that other fun stuff. And then karma bit me in the ass. Wife came through work. Thank you, University of Penn Hospital or Health System, whatever the official title is, but Penn Hospital came through with tickets. So I will be one of the people I was wishing good luck to going to the game tonight. Looking forward to it. Going to bring home a win. No idea where our seats are. I don't even care. You can put me up in the Bob Uecker seats and I will be fine. But Sixers, Knicks tonight at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. I almost called it the FU Center. It hasn't been that in a while. So I will be one of those knuckleheads dealing with the traffic tonight, but well worth it. Well worth it. This could be a legitimate, hopefully they come out with a win, but it could be a legitimate Charlie Brown in the football moment. Union are up in New England this weekend. They look to get back in the win column after a couple of draws. And then yesterday's trivia question, I asked, what other stadium besides the Link have the Eagles called home? They started off at the Baker Bowl, moved into Philadelphia Municipal Stadium. You might know it better as JFK, Shibe Park, Franklin Field, and of course, the Vet. Thank you. Everybody got that. The Baker Bowl was the one that tripped everybody up, but they played there their first 2 years before moving into Municipal Stadium. Some quick housekeeping notes. Be sure to follow me on all social media platforms at Philly Jimbo. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mott, and continue to spread the word as we grow this thing. Lots of new listeners. The analytics are growing, so thank you. And if you are new, welcome. We like to have some fun here. Hopefully there'll be another Brotherly Birds breakdown next week. Kind of up against some scheduling things. I'm going on vacation the following week. And I wanted to try, we were trying to get it aligned so we could do a draft recap and then combine it with the schedule preview. We were going to record on Wednesday night, and the schedule preview or the schedule release apparently is Wednesday night. So stay tuned for that. I'll let you know early next week. Of course, check out the blog. And if you follow me on social media, when I get the opportunity, I do work from home. So they might not always be early in the morning like they have been this week. But look for takes from the truck, just some random, quick hitting takes about the state of Philly sports. Sometimes if there's news. So all of that, the best way to stay in the loop, follow me on all social media platforms at Philly Jimbo. Reppin' Philly ain't a choice. It's a way of life. PhillyGoat.com is your one-stop shop for Philly pride. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off. Look fresh. Stay Philly. Philly Goat. Go Birds. All right, May 8th. First, we are going to try to will the Sixers to victory. We tried it with the Flyers and we're unsuccessful, but let's keep it rolling. We're going to go back to 1977. George McGinnis dropped 21. Doug Collins had 20. And the defense held future Sixer hero Moses Malone to 3-11 shooting as the Sixers beat the Rockets 106-97 to take a 2-0 lead in the Eastern Conference Final. They finished the Rockets off in 6 before heading to the NBA Finals to take on the Portland Trailblazers, who were coached by Philly's Dr. Jack Ramsey, and we talked about him yesterday, but the assistant on that team was Jack McKinney. See how it all ties together? 3 years later, we had another Flyers playoff run and another great Reggie Leach performance. He scored 2 goals, but the story was Bill Barber, who had 2 goals and an assist as the Flyers knock off the Minnesota North Stars 7-3, winning that series 4-1, going to their 4th Stanley Cup final in 7 years. But this series was all about Bill Barber. Bill Barber, just like Reggie Leach in 76, put the team on his back. He tied Reggie Leach's team record with 9 goals in a playoff series, set a new team record for points in a playoff series with 12, set an NHL record for it's still tied with today, 3 shorthanded goals in a series as the Flyers, that was the year of the 35-game unbeaten streak, they looked to be rolling as they got ready to take on the Islanders in the Stanley Cup Finals. But it was all about Bill Barber. 2 goals and an assist, had himself a monster series. Reggie Leach, the Riverton Rifle, also added 2 goals for the Flyers. Fast forward all the way then to 2014, and the Phillies were playing in their 20,000th game as a franchise, and the number 20,000 ended the same way number 1 did, with a loss. This time, 12-6 to the Blue Jays up in Toronto. Ryan Howard hit a 2-run homer, but Edwin Encarnacion hit 2 of the Blue Jays' 5 homers, including his 200th of his career off of A.J. Burnett. Just one of those times. You don't become the losingest franchise in North American sports history by not losing a couple games. And now let's get back to the Sixers. 2021, Joel Embiid had 29. Tyrese Maxey had 22. Dwight Howard, one of those guys you forgot was on the Sixers, had 19 off of the bench as the Sixers beat the Pistons 118-104 for their 8th straight victory. This was the season that got pushed back due to COVID, and the other season ending later than normal. But the Sixers were rolling heading into the playoffs. They played without Ben Simmons in this game, but winning their 8th straight on this day in 2021. Joe, Tyrese, and Dwight Howard led the way for the Sixers. And then 1 year later, Sixers tied their second round series with the Heat at 2 games apiece, beating the Heat 116-108. James Harden almost messing around and had a triple-double, 31 points, 9 assists, 7 boards. Joe had 24 as the Sixers head back to Miami, tied after winning both games in Philly after dropping both games on the road. See what I did there? So it is possible. Sixers have forced Game 5 and won both games at home. Miami was the number 1 seed that season. So you got the Knicks, who are not the number 1 seed. So hope is there for the Sixers. It can be done. It has been done by some of the same guys that are playing on this team. Tyrese was there. Joe was there. So let's go Sixers. Kind of harken back. Hopefully this series ends a little differently than that 2022. But the Sixers did tie that up after losing the first 2 on the road.
It's time for Fridays with AI, where we ask AI to rewrite Philly sports history. Every Friday only on This Day in Philly Sports History.
That's right. It is Friday. That means it's time for Fridays with AI, brought to you by Philly Goat. Go to phillygoat.com. They got you covered for your Philly sports-based apparel. I'm telling you, I say it all the time, and I kind of went down a rabbit hole the other day. Scroll through their site, look at the different collections and collaborations they have. I mean, Ryan and the team at Philly Goat are ridiculously busy. I was hoping it was going to come in time for tonight, but I did order. They have, and this shirt is phenomenal. I'm surprised nobody has done a variation of this before. But, you know, after the Celtics, we beat the Celtics in Game 7. They have the Celtics leprechaun with the shillelagh and all of that. Ryan and the team came up with a Philly hoop shirt, which mocks the Celtics, but it's Ben Franklin with a shillelagh. I love it. It's an awesome shirt. Cannot wait for that to come. Hopefully the Sixers cooperate and I'm able to wear it a couple times during this playoff run. But go to Philly Goat, check that, everything else they have, and use the promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off your order. All one word, but go to Philly Goat, and they are the sponsor of Fridays with AI. So when AI stopped by, it's been a hectic month for me in my personal, professional life, as well as just the highs and lows of Philly sports that has been the past month. You have the playoff races, playoff games, Phillies firing their manager. So AI was like, you look stressed. You look panicked. And I'm like, I don't know what I am. So AI broke out its panic meter, Philly sports panic meter, and said, let's take a look at all of these teams and see where our panic level and our stress level should be. And AI, of course, always won for motivation and positivity, like we do on Tuesdays. I guess it hears me talking, so it said, "Listen, in Philly, panic isn't an emotion; it's a tradition." I'm like, "Thanks, AI. Doesn't make me feel any better." All right, so here's what the Philly panic meter scale is. A 1 to 2 means relax, everything's going to be fine. 3 to 4, mild concern, but you're overreacting. 5 to 6, we start, hairs on our back starts to get up. We watch this closely. 7 to 8 means we have real problems. And 9 to 10, hide the sharp objects and turn off sports talk radio. So let's start with the Sixers since they're in action tonight. Sixers panic meter reading, 9.7. The positives are Maxime VJ Edgecombe and the fact we have 2 games here at home. But the negatives, pretty much everything else. Joe's health, the front office, the owner, who's a scumbag, by the way, the uncertainty, you name it, it's a negative with this team. And the triggers for us are phrases like, if healthy, trust the process, load management, he's ramping up, and he will be evaluated in 2 weeks. Those are the things that trigger us. And sometimes we hear them all in the same day, the same article about the same player. Should be an interesting offseason for the Sixers. Not ready to get there yet. And AI says with the Sixers, it's not even a normal panic. It's like a philosophical panic. I don't even know what that means. But AI said with the Sixers, it's a philosophical panic. So every right to be panicked here with the Sixers. And this isn't just for the playoff series. AI wanted me to put that caveat and that little asterisk in there. This is just the state of the team. And then we moved on to the Phillies. Panic meter reading, 6.2. So we got some problems. This, obviously, the panic meter reading has gone down a little bit in the past 2 weeks. Positives for this team, they have the experience, playoff experience. Don Mattingly his message seems to be getting through to this team. Obviously, the starting pitching. The negatives with this team, the streakiness. They can be unbeatable on Monday and look broken by Thursday. They are baseball's emotional roller coaster, Philadelphia's emotional roller coaster, and we got them all alone the entire summer. But the triggers for the Phillies, let's run it back. Fear of Taijuan Walker does not help that Andrew Painter did a Taijuan Walker impression last night. Look at the back of the baseball cards. And if Rob Thompson, it's the one thing, I liked him, but man, stop it. And then, of course, the postseason is a trigger for Phillies fans all over. Yeah, emotional roller coaster. So we're on high alert. All right, Flyers. AI says the panic reading meter for the Flyers is a 3. The positives, they have a young, promising core that's gaining valuable experience in this playoff season. They have Porter Martone, who's going to be an absolute stud. Dan Vladar, who could be the answer we've been looking for in goal. The negatives, essentially, are trust issues. We don't trust it. We've seen this. It's the ghost of Bobby Clark, who, after a playoff run like this, would blow up the team and start over from scratch. We got our coach. We just don't trust that it's going to stay. Our triggers, the power play. Yeah, power play triggers us. The other trigger is the other side of the other shoe is going to drop. We're afraid that, like, okay, things are going good. What's going to smack us in the face? And then, of course, the power play. These guys are horrible on the power play. Anyway, and then finally, the Eagles. Our panic meter reading is a 4.5 for the Eagles. Positives, the core is relatively intact. We got Howie Roseman. There's a ton of talent on this team. The negative, obviously, tons of changes, especially on the offensive side of the ball this offseason. Ghost of last season in 2023 as well. And, of course, the A.J. Brown situation. Triggers for the Eagles, A.J. Brown, WIP, Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni. Basically, everything around this team triggers us. They could be 8-0, and we're still complaining that they look like shit at going 8-0. Trust me, we've been there. All right, so that's AI's panic meter readings. Essentially, it's not as bad as we think. The one team I'm the most bullish on is the one team AI told me I should panic the most about. I don't know what that means, but shouldn't really be that concerned with the Flyers. Kind of watching it, monitoring closely with the Eagles. Phillies, yeah, we should be on high alert, but not quite panicking yet. Most sports town, or AI ends it with this, in most sports towns, the panic usually means things are going badly. In Philly, it just means it's a normal Tuesday. What do you think? What should our panic level be for our Philly sports teams right now? Hit me up on the Back to the Future voice and text line 267-495-8531. Get that. Anything else Philly sports related off of your chest. Everything is fair game. What do you got? But that is Fridays with AI, brought to you by Philly Goat. Go to phillygoat.com for a wide selection of Philly sports-based apparel. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off of your order. You won't be disappointed. And then finally today, our Philly connection does have a Phillies connection, and that is George Bell. 3-time All-Star with the Blue Jays and the Cubs, the 1987 American League MVP. He won 3 Silver Sluggers. He's in the Blue Jays Hall of Fame, the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. I remember him as a kid. I had his baseball card. He was one of those guys that was always a threat to go deep. And I had the 1987 brown border Topps card is the one I'm talking about. So if you're a baseball card collector, you know which one I'm talking about. But George was originally signed by the Phillies in 1978 and then was picked up by the Blue Jays in the Rule 5 draft. But man, if you add a guy like George Bell to a lineup with Mike Schmidt later after the 83 season, what could have been? But if you're kind of an old school baseball guy like me, George Bell, you know him well, had his baseball cards, but he originally was a Philly, picked up in the Rule 5 draft by the Blue Jays. So that's today's Philly Connections. Let me know your thoughts on the panic meter. Where should we be? Should we be panicking? Do we have nothing to worry about? Should we just let it go because it's sports? What fun is that? On this day, 2022, Sixers tied their series with the Heat at 2 games apiece after losing the first 2 on the road. 2021, Sixers win their 8th straight, getting rolling, heading into the playoffs. Joe 29, Maxey 22, Dwight Howard 19. Phillies 20,000th game of franchise history, and it ended the same way game number 1 did, as well as over 11,000 others, with a loss. 1980, Bill Barber leads the Flyers to their 4th Stanley Cup in 7 years, beating the North Stars 7-3. Had himself a series, set a couple NHL records, a couple Flyers records, and of course, Sixers go up 2-0 on the Rockets in the Eastern Conference Final in 1977, led by George McGinnis and Doug Collins. Completely forgot because of getting ready for the Flyers game and trying to figure out the Sixers game. No trivia for today. Enjoy. I'll figure it out. I'll do better next week, I promise. Told you, it's been a tough week. But we'll be back on Monday to rewind the weekend. Hopefully, we have some playoff games to look forward to next week. Let's go Sixers. Can the Flyers extend the season one more game by winning on Saturday? Let's hope so. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for May 8th, 2026. My name's Jim Montgomery. I promise I'm not going to fight any Knicks fans tonight. I think. Go have yourselves a feel-good Friday. And until next time, go Sixers. Let's get it done tonight.